Yam Shaiva Samubhasate Shivaiti Brahmeti Vedantino Bauddha Buddha iti Pramana Patavaha Karteti Nayayigaha Arhan Nityatha Jaina Shasanarataha Karmeti Mimamsagaha Soyam Vo Vidadhatu Vanchita Phalam Trailokyanatho Harihi Soyam Vo Vidadhatu Vanchita Phalam Trailokyanatho Harihi Harihi Om Harihi Om. As usual, I shall recite 3 times the auspicious monosyllable Om, and as usual, all of you will close your eyes, sit erect, and accompany me while I am chanting, reciting. Is it okay? Huh? Yes. As usual, I am not satisfied about your participation. I don't know, for doing something very good for yourself, your family, and the whole world, why should there be such a reluctance? You, after all, only from a living body sound will emerge. Use that sound in a benedictory manner, beneficent manner. So without shyness, let me hear the sound of all of you. Oh. Harihi Om, that's Jaya Guru. For the past many years, in the month of November, I have been coming here to this hall and seeing a set of committed listeners for a period of 5 days. We also make a visit to the Center of Inner Resources Development in the month of March. Last year possibly we did not come, otherwise we regularly come. So this is in a way the second visit, or year-wise the first visit. During this period we generally stay in our center. We have our morning classes-like programs. I have been speaking about the inner resources development on the basis of Vivekachudamani, the last text of Shankaracharya. It has been a class going on for many years, but we never undertake any public programs. So quite strangely, and in a way happily also I should say, I happen to be here along with all of you. I am very happy if I spend some time seeing all of you and interacting with you also in this manner. In this particular case, I would like to say, my coming here has been occasioned by a very touching appeal made by Sriman Ravi Mehrotra. He and his wife came to the ashram. Before that, he used to attend the lectures which I was giving here. And one day he introduced himself and got a little close. And thereafter he came to the ashram seeking Brahma Vidya Diksha from me. I represent a very, very ancient, dating back to the prehistoric Vedic ages, that Brahma Vidya Parampara tradition, as you say. That Brahma Vidya Diksha which I got from my Gurudev is what has transformed me, if you call it a transformation, or led me to the spiritual fulfillment, the glorious and splendorous fulfillment that a seeker of truth alone is expected to have, is blessed to have. That Brahma Vidya Diksha like the sun of the sky, the moon of the sky, and the so many other stars. It is always present and very radiant. After listening to my talks, when people come to me seeking Diksha, I ask them, I inquire about them, why are you seeking Diksha, etc. Thereafter we inform them the circumstances in which a Diksha is imbibed by a seeker. We generally deal with religion and live through religion. And the God is always at a distance, and He is invisible also. All our devotional practices are addressed to an invisible and extremely distant God. So it becomes unilateral. So much so that the devotees have no problem, because God will never tell them anything. Now, there comes a stage in the devotee's life when he feels, I am not satisfied with an invisible God and a distant God. I would like to have greater communication and interaction with whatever I call God. But God has no answer to give. He has no body to make myself available for. That is the time you go to a teacher or a Sadguru, as our Shastras describe. Now, when such a person comes and appears before us, I explain to them that that is actually an optional second birth. The first is a bodily or a biological birth about which we never know. Nobody has sought his birth in this world. It happens. One day, a woman tells you that I am your mother, this is your father, we accept the facts. That's all. So that is not an optional birth. This is an optional birth, which takes place for your mind and heart or for the soul. So both Ravi and Deepthi, they wanted me to initiate them, and they stayed in the ashram for 4 or 5 days. After that, he went away. While going away, he spoke to me about this kind of a plan which he has. What is that plan? He wanted to commemorate, more than mere commemoration, make a kind of a very touching and devotional and pious sentimental offer to his father in the form of a memorial lecture which he proposes to conduct every year. I don't have to say much. All of us are born as children, and we are children of the parents. The parents pass away after some time. Normally the children survive. Some of the children remember the parents fondly, others never refer to them even. Now it's very, very rare to find a soul who speaks so fondly, reverently, devotionally, devoutly, wholesomely. I owe so much myself to the Father. So this kind of a touching sentiment which he expressed, and ultimately I came to know that he wanted me to give the inaugural lecture in the way of the commemorial series. So I would like to say this kind of a filial fondness and the commitment, resolve and perseverance that go along with that filial fondness is very rare to find. I am very happy. Let our country have more and more such children, and let the country become greater, more and more noble, more and more enriched and elevated in every way. Now that they are my disciples, I don't like to speak anything. I always say, a good father will not praise or even evaluate, so to say, in front of the others' children. So I tell my disciples, I don't generally tend to tell you very good words, praise. I evaluate you sometimes when I get, but I will make the children worthier and respectable before the society. We also have a code, which I don't say, only for your information I shall say, Sarvatra Vijayam Iched, Putradu Shishyadu Iched Parajayam. This is what my Gurudev told me. Everywhere seek victory, but in the hands of your son and disciple, seek always defeat. I have that kind of a bend of mind. I would like to be defeated by my disciples, excelled. I don't like them to overtake me in any way, but certainly I would like them to excel me in every possible ways. And my role is to help and facilitate the whole process of excellence, refinement, greater and greater enrichment, elevation, expansion, and finally enlightenment. Now, I have been asked to speak on spirituality, key to enlightened decision making. I don't know who hit upon this subject. The subject was proposed to me and I said, very good, I shall speak. Generally, I don't think about the subject except when the date for speaking comes nearer me. And my thoughts generally commence when I enter my bathroom. That is what happens generally. So I was thinking, what is this subject they had given me? Spirituality and the key to enlightened decision making. You know, most of you must be spiritual listeners or at least spiritual readers. So I would like to tell you, the entire decision making process is spirituality. When I say this, will you accept it? We have people representing the greatest citadel of jurisprudence of the country. I don't know whether I have to be careful to speak. I am very happy that we have such an audience. See, when I tell you the truth, that you are all spiritual and not material, will you accept it or deny it? No answer. If you were only material, you would have become dead bodies. Our body is made of matter and energy. That is what is called the physical body. The physical body alone is material and matter. The other factor is called the inner personality, namely the mind, the feelingful, the thoughtful, the emotional, the mind which produces memory, knowledge, doubt, and so many other things. Is it matter? Huh? You have a doubt. Do you know of any matter or energy which is capable of thinking, feeling, reacting, speaking? Are you not doing all this? So are you material or spiritual? Any doubt? If you have a doubt, please raise your hand. The very fact that you are living and your bodies are animated and activated, this animation and activation will come only from the spiritual, not from the material. So whatever we call the mind, the intelligence, the ego, all these are spiritual functionaries. The functional nodes of the spiritual substance called consciousness, or what you call the self or God. So why speak about enlightened decision making? The very thought process is spiritual. The very knowledge process is spiritual. The very emotional and feeling process is spiritual. Now, out of so many other functions which the mind and the intelligence do, decision making is also one. If the thought process, feeling process, memory process, knowing process, emotional process, all these processes are spiritual, decision making also is necessarily spiritual. So whenever you speak of knowledge, whenever you speak of feeling, etc., they always refer to the inner spiritual constituent of your personality. So, in the matter of enlightened decision making, if not spirituality, what else can work or benefit? I am asking you a question. Am I clear or not? The entire thought process is spiritual. It is not material. It's not physical. It's not energial. It's only spiritual. So, spirituality is the only pursuit by virtue of which you can have a proper decision making and an enlightened decision making. In fact, I would like to say to the hearing of the entire world that decision making itself is a spiritual process. It is not a material process. Now the question is, how you can make it an enlightened decision making? Decision can be made in an unenlightened manner, in an ignorant manner, in a deluded or a delusional manner, in a perverted or a distorted manner. If you have to make an enlightened decision, that enlightenment in decision making is something very important. And if you ask me, by spirituality alone this quality can be cultivated, improved upon, enhanced, and further reinforced and elevated. There is no doubt about it. Swamiji, why are you saying so? Yes, I will say this. I will also prove to you that my statement is correct. How? What is spirituality? Spirituality, if at all, is a science and pursuit. Pursuit dealing with what? dealing with the mind on the one hand, intelligence on the other, ego on the other. You know, in our whole personality, one is the physical component called the biological aggregate called the body. The whole body is employed by the mind, employed by the intelligence, employed by the ego. The body by itself cannot do any function whatsoever. If I am raising my hand and my tongue is moving, words are coming out, it is not because of the tongue alone. There is an inner personality consisting of mind, intelligence and ego which constantly employ the body as a whole and the bodily parts one after the other. I would like to see, then I open my eyes and focus my vision. Then the seeing follows and it is registered within me, not in the eyes or in the body. This is something that I would like all of you to understand. So spirituality, if at all it is called a proper science, if it is rationally understood, it always deals with mind as a functioning element, mind as a substance or an entity, then intelligence the other and ego the third. In as much as spirituality is a science where mind, intelligence, ego, these are constantly discussed, how to deal with them, how to improve upon them, how to refine them, how to purify them, how to sublimate them, how to elevate them, how to get them enlightened. If this is the subject and the process of spirituality, don't you think certainly this spirituality is necessary for enlightened decision making? Yes or no? Except in the hands of spirituality, how are you going to have a very sensitive, perceptive intelligence, a sensitive mind? How will you develop qualities of the mind and heart? What are the qualities necessary for taking an enlightened decision? Goodness is one important quality. Purity is another. Benevolence is a third one. And finally, propriety. What do you mean by all these things? These are qualities belonging to the body or belonging to the mind and intelligence. When we say goodness, one has to be good. One has to be pure. One has to be benevolent. One has to be proper, rightful. Now, all these are words which denote the qualities of the mind and heart, the qualities of the mind and the intelligence. If all these qualities have to be developed in a decision maker, no matter what is the field of his activity, it can be in his own home, personal life, family life, social life, a life of administration, a life in legislative assembly or parliament, or maybe in the seats of jurisprudence, wherever it may be, field of activity may be anything whatsoever. But so far as these qualities are concerned, they are very common and indispensable. So spirituality alone will be able to deal with your mind and mental functioning, intelligence and intellectual functioning, and ego functioning in such a manner that they will have more and more of enlightenment every day. Ultimately, whatever they think and whatever they decide will be in an enlightened manner. Am I clear or not? So the only means for taking enlightened decision is to place yourself in the hands of spirituality more and more. What is actually a decision? According to me, decision is a natural, indispensable response to the need of the occasion. Whatever is the need, that need is first of all felt by the mind or felt by the intelligence. Once the need is reflected, then the decision naturally will come forth. I always say, problem is the first creation of the mind, and solution is the subsequent creation of the mind. Whenever we speak of a problem, where is this problem felt? Do you think our nose feels a problem? It's always felt by the mind or by the intelligence. When the problem is properly reflected upon, automatically the mind will grow deeper and deeper, more and more refined, as a result of which the solution also will be struck. Is there any occasion when anybody has made a decision except from his own mind and heart? Boliye na. Huh? Let it be a decision about the country, about an unseen case, especially for people like judges and justices. You know, they are always called upon to make a decision on things which they have never seen. We call it an inferential process, an inferential pursuit. Situations and events would have taken place, they have never seen them. They are only listening to various reports and versions about the whole thing, and ultimately they come out with a judgment. So any decision taken by anyone with regard to anything in this world, this decision emerges only from within oneself. Am I clear or not? Do you accept it or not? So in order to make decision, it is the spiritual constituents called the mind, intelligence and ego that are going to make a decision at any point of time. Whatever be the need, if the need is properly sensed, a solution will necessarily have to come. Maybe it is delayed a little bit, but it has to come. What are the needs before us? The needs can be personal, they can be professional, they can be societal, they can be administrative, managerial, including the seats of justice, etc. All these are different orbits. Now, whatever may be the orbits, and who are the people involved in this decision, for whose sake are we making this decision? So in every decision you will find the first factor to be involved is the individual. And every individual is born from a family, so the next circle is family. The third circle is the society. The fourth circle is the nation. And the still next circle will be globe. Nowadays we also say environment. You know, in all the progress that we have made in India and in the rest of the countries of the world, we have violated our environmental obligations. Do you agree or disagree? Huh? It is very clearly known that for human beings to live upon this earth, any country or a state if you take, at least 30% or 33% of the ground should be greenery. Today I asked a UP cadre officer, a retired officer, what is the situation in UP? He tells me that it is much less than 10% even. Perhaps in Karnataka and Assam regions alone, we have something like 30% or 33% forestry and greenery. So if we start living in this earth, filling the earth in such large numbers that we don't have oxygen to take, do you think this kind of a growth, factors, known and unknown, which permitted this kind of an explosive growth in our population, have we taken the right decision? Please tell me. Even in bringing up your family, say for example the individual, we have about 1.15 crores, 115 crores of people in the country. All these 115 crores of people have been individually contributed by individual families. It is not that 10, 20 or 100 people were born, certainly not. An individual gets born in the family. For the individual to be born, there must be a family. For family to be there, there must be a society. For a society to be there, there must be a nation. For a nation to be there, there must be globe. And for globe to be there, there must be universe. So in all the thinking that we have, in all the decision making that we have, should we not be able to include the individual, family, society, nation, globe, environment, etc.? Yes or no? I am speaking to you in a very fundamental manner. So every decision making should be taking into account the individuals, the families, the society, the nation, and further and further. So the ability of the decision taker to incorporate all these circles and orbits in his personality and reflect upon them very carefully, that is very, very important. Now, if you have to do this, your mind will have to develop. Your mind and the intelligence will have to grow. You have to become impersonal and universal in your outlook, in your action. While thinking in this manner, generally what happens, a person gets constricted. What is this constriction? Selfishness, what you call. I call it a constriction in the mind. It's a psychological constriction. Everyone begins to think with a selfish note. You cannot take a right decision at all with a selfish note. So a good decision and an enlightened decision will emerge only when you are able to overcome or sublimate the selfish constriction. Am I correct or not? This is not a world in which I alone live. Like me, all the others are living. Whatever I say, whatever I think, and whatever I do should be beneficial to all the people, not to me and my family alone. When a child is born in my family, we celebrate it and call the friends and distribute sweets. But I always ask the parents, when a child is born, I have a son, I have a daughter, please come. Are you ever able to say, our country has got one more citizen? Do you ever say or think in this manner? The birth of a child in any family is addition of a citizen to the country and also citizen to the globe. Why is it that you are missing that outlook? Whenever you educate the child, you have a feeling, I must educate, he must become better. And where is he going to work? In your house? Certainly not. He will be employed by the nation or the globe. Employment opportunity should be there. His productivity, it goes to your family. Say there are industrialists. In their houses, so many things are produced. The productivity is consumed by the family or consumed by the society at large. So an industry even, it is existing for the sake of the society. So the societal welfare should be taken into account when an industrialist or anybody representing industrial management takes a decision. So we must be able to think in this kind of a manner. But our selfishness and constriction, myopic vision will always be obstructing. So what do you have to do? The myopic vision is constantly exercised by the mind. So I would like to describe the mind in this manner as Bhagavad Gita puts it. Ichchadvesha samuthena dvandvamohena bharata sarvabhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. Any creature, not to speak of human beings alone, at the time of birth, a kind of a delusion grips it. And the delusion arising from ichcha and dvesha, likes and dislikes, preference and prejudice. There is no human mind without likes and dislikes. The first thing to react to external situations and needs is the mind. So when the mind starts thinking about a situation or a need, automatically the likes and dislikes of the mind will overtake the decision. So in order to take an enlightened decision, what should you do? The intelligence should not be subdued by the likes and dislikes of the mind. Suppose a person has done a wrong and you already dislike that person. So you will start thinking, he is somebody whom I dislike and he has done a wrong. So let me be severe about it. If you are a good man and you want to take an enlightened decision, what should you think? Consider that it is done by somebody whom I like. So the likes and dislikes should not come there. Partiality can be this way or the other way. It is done by somebody whom I like. It is done by somebody whom I dislike. Both can be there. The intelligence is there without this kind of a clouding. Only in the mind level you have likes and dislikes. The intelligence is always an explorer. It is always an inquirer. It's always a seeker. It's always an investigator. So the intelligence doesn't have the coloring. That is why it is called buddhi. Bodhanad buddhi. Mananad manaha. So the intelligence by its very nature is given to intellection. Any subject you give to the intelligence, it will begin to probe. So it will not have likes and dislikes. The likes and dislikes are provided by the mind. So if you want to take an enlightened decision, what should you do? Do not be subjected by the likes and dislikes of your mind. This is something very important. The intelligence should be allowed to think in its own manner and encourage the intelligence and never bring either your selfish considerations or likes and dislikes in the manner. So I have a proverb. What is that? Do not do what you want and then do what you like. Have you understood what I said? Do not do what you want and then do what you like. You go on thinking about this proposition. What did this Bhoomananda Swamiji say? Think about it. Do not do what you want and then do what you like. The whole process is this. So likes and dislikes should not overbear or overtake the mind. Whenever you think, you have to incorporate greater and greater orbits in your mind. See, we have a member of the parliament. What is this? Member of the parliament. Member of the parliament. The entire parliament is elected by the people of India. So a member is carrying in his mind the welfare of the people of India. He cannot think, I am an individual, I am a family person. If he were a family person, he would have been a member of the family. People have elected him as a member of the parliament. That means he must always parliamentarian manner, constantly carrying the welfare, the concern, the advancement, the growth, the enrichment, the empowerment of the whole nation. If the member is not able to think in this manner, in a national manner, what is the point? The other day, I addressed a group of 30 and odd IAS officers. It was a Skype conference from the ashram. It started at 9 o'clock and continued up to 1 o'clock with an hour's break for them to discuss what I said. So I was talking to them. You are all IAS officers. To run our government, it is not enough if people are elected. The elected people in the country are about 900 people. And the selected people, IAS officers, are 9,000. Have you known about it? Huh? Boliye na kuch. 900 versus 9,000. If the 900 people were sufficient to run the administration, then why have the 9,000? So the 9,000 people have been selected by an elaborate procedure. So every one of you is intelligent. Your credentials have been gone into. Examinations have been held, written as well as otherwise, and every one of you has been selected. And you are appointed by the President of India. The President is elected by the Electoral College. And the Electoral College consists of members who are elected by the people. Now tell me, who are your first and last bosses? A decision can be taken, how I can interpret the law to deny this benefit to the people. Such crooked minds also are there. It can be the other way. How can I interpret it liberally and beneficially so that they will be benefited, the people will be benefited? So the taxes are paid by us. They are spending crores and crores of rupees. And these are spent by the selected people. There is nothing good or bad done in the country only by an elected representative, a minister. A minister can do either good or bad only with the help and participation of at least 3 or 4 officers under him. So what do you think of your position? They have a transitory life. What? Am I correct or not? All the elected people, their tenure is transitory. You have got comparatively a lasting life. 25, 30 years you are going to have this accredited service appointed by the president. Maximum you can be transferred to an unimportant post. Why don't you take it up as an austerity? Did not Sri Rama go to the forest? Did he not live there for 14 years? Have this kind of a tradition. What can anybody do for you? You are selected. And the selected people have got greater advantage. If the elected missionary alone will be sufficient, why have these selected people? The minister will have to be advised by the IAS officers, the secretaries. They have to be advised. Sometimes the minister may speak right as well as wrong. So the IAS officers will have to correct them. So do you understand your role? If the 9,000 administrators of the country are able to stand and feel the pulse of the nation, the confidence and the trust the people have placed in them, and you become unified in your outlook, I don't think anything on earth or heaven will shake you, I said. Am I correct or not? Boliye na? I am waiting for the day when the administrative service will be able to stand committed to the nation and assert their position. This is what I am looking for. I don't think in my life it will take place, my bodily life, but I wish the country will have. We have great and heroic people. That history is impregnated in our mind and heart. We are not a small nation. I will tell you some instances. Shall I speak? Sometimes I don't know how much time I will take. I would like to speak to you something good. Are you prepared to hear? Yes. Huh? Yes. I will speak to you the glory of your forefathers, the glory of the people of India, not anything outside the orbit of the country. All that has happened here and here alone. Finally, at the end of the talk, the coordinator told me, Swamiji, they would like you to administer a pledge to them. A pledge? So I was looking at Nirvisheshananda Swamiji pledge, what shall I do? So I administered a pledge offhand. The report that we got was, it was a very historic event, and all of them The eyes trickled. They shed tears. You know, I see a good India, a noble India, a promising India. I don't say we are weak. Our minds are very strong. Our intelligence is very perceptive. And our soul is infinite and unshakable. It cannot be conquered by anything. Even the poor man in India knows that he has got an unassailable soul in him. I don't know whether other countrymen and countrywomen know it as much as we do. Now, with this background, I would like to say, the entire Bhagavad Gita is a process of decision making. I generally describe Bhagavad Gita as an administrative political gospel because it transpired in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and the entire Gita was meant for instilling courage and clarity of thought in the mind of Arjuna so that he could take up his Gandiva and fight the war for 18 days. Fighting, lathi charge, etc. Is it ordinarily a normal social act? Is it not something that comes under political administration? So it's a political gospel. And it was imparted by Krishna, a politician, a political person, and it was received by Arjuna, another king. And the purpose was to fight the war. Not to do austerity, go to the mountain, closing your eyes. So the purpose was, Tasmad Yudhyasva Bharata. Therefore fight Arjuna, fight Arjuna. This is the way Sri Krishna spoke. So is it not a task of administration? Now today I say, the entire Bhagavad Gita is a decision-making process. Will you believe me when I say this? How many people say yes? See, Arjuna came to the battlefield after 13 years of preparation. 13 years of preparation he came with Pashupadastra, etc. When he looked at Bheeshma and Drona, suddenly he started crumbling. I don't quote the Bhagavad Gita verses, it will take time. Gandivam sramsade hastat. He was saying, Gandiva is slipping. I am not able to hold it. Nervously, absolutely shaken. The mouth went dry. When Krishna exhorted him saying that, what is this weakness that you are exhibiting? This is an occasion for you to express and display courage, determination, and resolve. And what is it that you are doing? It is unbecoming of a fighter, particularly a person like you with your credentials. So he thought, I should not be moved by sympathy. I told you, mind will put up its likes and dislikes and sympathy. So the mind overpowered. The sight of Bheeshma, Drona, and the relatives, he said, I can fight enemies, but not relatives. Suppose the relatives happen to stand as enemies in front. Will you see them as relatives or should you see them as enemies? Am I clear? Huh? Not clear. See, they are declaring themselves. Every soldier that had come to the battlefield of Kurukshetra either wanted to kill his opponents or get killed by the opponents. Killing was the only objective. So Bheeshma and Drona had come there to kill Arjuna and the others. Thus, everyone in the Duryodhana army was supposed to kill the Pandava army, including Arjuna, Yudhishthira, and the others. And equally so, this is the truth. That being the case, why is Arjuna looking at them as relatives? Is it correct? Thoda boliye na. Is it an enlightened decision-making process or a distorted, clouded, deluded decision-making process? So he declared that I will not fight this war. Then Krishna exhorted him in this manner. Suddenly he says, Yachreyasyan nishchidam bruhi tanme shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prabannam karpanya doshopahata swabhavaha pruchhami tvam dharma sammudha chetaha. Krishna, I realize I am deluded by karpanya. What is this karpanya? Narrow-mindedness. That constriction put by the mind. So I am suffering from the constricted, myopic outlook. I am not able to decide what should be done. the sense of propriety, the idea of propriety doesn't occur to me. Therefore, I ask you, please instruct me on what? Yat shreyas syat. What should be the right course of action for me? Please advise me, give a decision, he said. If the entire Bhagavad Gita was in answer to this request of Arjuna, am I not right in saying the entire Bhagavad Gita deals with the science of decision making? Yes or no? Yes. My dear listeners, tell me 1,000 times. He said, I am unable to decide and give me the right decision. And Sri Krishna, throughout the 18 chapters, was talking to him, giving right information, knowledge, evaluations, comparisons, assessments, different types of viewpoint. All these things he presented. And ultimately, what did Krishna say? Did you hear all that I said? Kachidedat sudam partha tvayaigagrena chetasa kachid ajnana sammoha pranashtaste dhananjaya. Did you hear all that I said? Have you overcome your delusion? Now, can you not decide matters in your own way? Yathechasi tatha guru. Do what you desire. Tell me, what is the gist of it? The same Arjuna who was unable to decide matters, Arjuna was empowering him, enlightening him, enriching him, instilling into him the right insight, the ability to think impersonally, impartially, the ability to think in a clear manner, the ability to think. It is not just a fight between Arjuna and Duryodhana. That fight became necessary because of the national consideration. It came to a point where Duryodhana grew so wicked that his wickedness was threatening the whole of the country. Do you know, for Mahabharata war, 45 lakhs of warriors had come, 18 Akshahunis. I have told you earlier also, when it is calculated according to the Akshahuni calculation, 45 lakhs of warriors. And almost the same number, a little less, horses and elephants also were there. And all this army came from the different parts of India, this subcontinent. So it was no more a family war. It became a point, should wickedness rule the society or righteousness rule the society? It was such a grave national question. It was in response to that question, all people sent their warriors and the war came to be a reality. So was it a personal war between Arjuna and Bheeshma, or was it a national question as to whether righteousness should rule us or unrighteousness should? Nahi samajha. Am I able to explain matters properly? It was a national question. Arjuna was not able to reflect this national dimension. When Sri Krishna spoke to him and enlightened him to make him understand the impact of the whole thing, the national orbit of it, he himself decided, I will fight not one Mahabharata, Kurukshetra war, a dozen if necessary. So the same Arjuna who was unable to decide matters, now he decides himself. In the same manner, every one of you can be enlightened to make the right decision. This enlightenment is not merely for taking a decision, even it is to do your work, lead your life, perform your activity in a very benevolent, noble, effective, harmless, helpful, extremely benedictory manner. So far as the mind and intelligence are concerned, enlightenment is the only course they need. See, our food requires physical and food nourishment. Tell me, what is the nourishment for the mind? What is the nourishment for the intelligence? The nourishment for the mind is not physical food. It can only be thoughts, values, nobler and nobler emotions, expansions, elevations. These are the nourishments for the mind. For the intelligence, it is more and more of knowledge along with the sense of propriety. So as I mentioned, goodness should be there, propriety should be there, benevolence should be there. All these ideas should be imbibed. So Krishna's exposition is really on decision making. When Arjuna understood the facts of life, the compulsions of life, the nature of life, the source of life, the terminus of life, everything was clearly known to him. The war became an easy matter of course. It became a harmonious event. Similarly, you will find your mind will always bring about the right decision. What is the type of prayer that you should have? The type of prayer that you should have is, always let me have the right decision, right decision. Now, I am giving you some illustrious instances. I would not like to quote somebody from the West, this man, that man, etc. They are all contemporary persons. We have eternal characters in our life, in our country. Eternal. They will always be living. Now, these eternal characters are discussed in two epics that we have. One is Ramayana, another is Mahabharata. I spoke to you from Bhagavad Gita. Now, Rama was only 16 years old. Dasharatha arranged for his coronation. The coronation was arranged in a very dubious manner. I am not going to explain it now. We may not have time. Ultimately, Rama underwent the necessary austerity the previous day along with Sita. And on the coronation day, he was waiting for a call from his father. Waiting after taking bath, doing his Sandhya Vandana, etc. He was ready. But father was not calling. The sun rose. Sun was rising. And what happened? My father he's not calling me. What happened? His coronation. Suddenly a message came. Kaikeyi, your stepmother wants you. So Rama went there. When he went there, can you imagine? Dasharatha was rolling on the ground, crying and heaving. He asked, what happened to my father? The moment he saw me, or he ever saw me, he would immediately get up, embrace me, speak to me soft words, greeting, etc. What happened? He is suffering under the pressure of his own vows, Kaikeyi said. Now what is the matter? I don't have to say many things. Rama, you will not be crowned. You have to go to the forest for 14 years on an exile, and Bharata will be crowned. Then he was thinking about, Bharata is not here, we should send a person to him, what shall we do? Kaikeyi said, don't worry about all that. Your business is to go to the forest. You know what Rama did? I want every one of you to think. Many of you have passed already 16 years. If the same question or the same statement was made to you or any member of your family, what would you say? You know what Rama said? Before the sun sets today, Rama will have left Ayodhya. This is the one message for all of you. Don't think that our mind is born to be weak. Our mind can be tremendously strong to shake the barriers of the world. You don't know the strength concealed in the mind. It is this mind that reflects infinite space around. The entire world is reflected on what is within your body in the mind. So the entire infinite world is reflected in your mind. Tell me, is the mind smaller than the world or bigger than? Thoda boliye na. Our body is small, but our mind is not. Mind is not. Mind is not. Not at all. So Rama come up with a decision. Before the sun sets, I will have left Ayodhya. First of all, he went and told the mother. Mother started weeping, crying. He spoke to her. After some time, you know what the mother said? I am very sorry, my dear son. You are a righteous son. Your decision is right. I compliment you. It is because of my motherly weakness and tenderness that I cried for a while. Go with my blessing. Let the 14-year period turn to be 14 months. Come back. I shall be here to greet you, she said. All the others opposed one after the other. You know what sage Vasishtha said? Your father, he is always enamored of this young woman, Kaikeyi. Put him to prison and sit on the throne. Sunte hain kya? Sage Vasishtha told him. I am speaking from Valmiki Ramayana. Rama never heeded any of these words. On the other hand, it was almost like a hurdle race for him. Every obstruction or opposition intensified his will and resolve. And finally, he wore the bark and along with Sita and Lakshmana got into the chariot. Sumantra was driving. Are you able to imagine the scene? Sumantra driving. Dasharatha came somehow there And when the chariot was about to take off, Dasharatha tells Sumantra, who was Dasharatha's minister, halt. Rama said, no, speed on. I don't know whether you are with me. The father king says, you halt. And Sumantra had a loyalty to Dasharatha. Now he is a charioteer. So Rama says, no, speed on. If Dasharatha asks you, tell him, I did not hear you. He also added, why? Because no melancholic scene, no affliction should be extended beyond limit. This is the reason he gives. I don't know whether you are with me when I say this. These are great truths, my dear souls, for the human mind. Any kind of an affliction should not be extended. So let us not remain there. Simply go away. And you tell the father that you did not hear him. And he went away. What do you say about it? And how did Rama do it? Suddenly you people will say, Rama was God. Which God? Valmiki has not written the story of a God. He asked Narada, you tell me whether there is any living human being who has got the force of truth, the force of character, and very powerful man, heroic person, who is sympathetic, loving, amiable, considerate. If there is anybody living now, you tell me. Don't say there was somebody. Is there somebody? You are going everywhere. He said, yes, Rama, who is still growing. As far as I know, he is the first son of Dasharatha. He conforms to all the specifications that you have said. So the entire Valmiki Ramayana, my dear souls, please hear this statement once and for all and spread it to all people. It is the story of the prince and king Sri Rama and not a god Rama. Are you enlightened or are you hurt? Huh? A prince and a king Rama have been described there, not anybody else. And Rama's mind was able to decide in this manner. What do you have to learn? You also have a Panchabhautik body like Sri Rama had. And you also have the spiritual constituents, functionaries called the mind, intelligence and ego. And the same mind which is now agitated, which is now clouded, Arjuna's clouded mind shed the clouding and suddenly he came up with a decision to fight within 2.5 or 3 hours. Sri Rama now decided this. There are so many other instances in Sri Rama's life. At one time he abandoned the kingdom. At another time he abandoned his own wife. What for? This is what Sri Rama says in the language of Kalidasa, not Valmiki. So a poet like Kalidasa. Avaimi chainam anakheti kinchid lokapavado belavan matome rajarshi vamshasya ravi prasude upasthita pashyata kidrishoyam mattas sadachara shujeh kalangaha payodavata divadarpanasya. He called Lakshmana and the others. You have immense love for me. Listen to what I say. I have decided to abandon your sister-in-law. Why? I belong to a Rajarshi Vamsha. Raviprasudehe. It is born from the Surya. The earth itself is born from Surya. So all of you are carrying the glow and the luster of Surya. Are you not? Are you only earth's children? The earth itself was born of Surya. So we are actually, Surya is our grandfather. So Rajarshi Vamshasya Ravi Prasudehe Upasthita Pashyata Kidrishoyam. A kind of a stain has been caused. I am sitting on the throne. You know, it was not a democratic government. The king had to have, impeccable character. Anybody he could slay without question. And it will not be questioned by anybody. So he must have the force of character, truthfulness and acceptance by the people. He alone sent the spies. And the spies came and Guptacharas came and told him that this is what people say. As a dutiful king, what could he do? He had 2 courses if at all. One is abandon the throne and live with Sita. I don't know whether the entire Bharat would have hosted him. Nahi samajha. I'm not getting a right reaction. A great king like Rama, if he had abandoned the throne, taken Sita and wanted to live anywhere, do you think any other kingdom would have hosted him? Boliye na thoda. It is not like hosting like Dalai Lama here. He would not have been hosted by anybody. Do you think Sita would have liked it? So there are two courses here. Either abandon the throne and live with Sita, or abandon Sita and sit on the throne. What is the natural outcome? So he decided. Later on, towards the end of the life, you know what happened? It came to a question where he had to behead Lakshmana. He called Vasishtha. What shall I do now? I have to behead Lakshmana. It was because Brahma had come to talk to him, and he had said, when I talk, nobody should enter. And Lakshmana was supposed to be the guard. Then suddenly Durvasa Maharshi came. You know that irritable person, Durvasa came. I said, I must immediately see Sri Rama. If you don't allow me, I will curse all of you. Finally, the promise was that if somebody was permitted, Lakshmana would be beheaded. So finally, Lakshmana decided, let me be beheaded, but Durvasa's curse should not be incurred. Therefore, I must save the palace and the people. So he permitted. He said, I have completed an entire vow and I want to have a full square meal. That's all. It was his demand. For that purpose, he created all this halla gulla there. So Durvasa Maharshi went away, Brahma went away. Then he had to behead Lakshmana. Then what he did? Called Vasishtha, what shall I do? Yes, you must fulfill your promise. But there is one way. What is that? After all, when you kill a person, what happens? That person becomes non-existent. So far as you are concerned, he will not be available. So another equivalent path will be abandon him. So Lakshmana was abandoned by him. Are you hearing? Yes. And Lakshmana went away. Sri Rama also went away into the Sarayu river, and he also went away. This is how it ended. So this is all happening, and we have got such illustrious decisions. What about Krishna now? The Krishna dimension, many of you will not be able to appreciate and understand. You know, Krishna was in the chariot, as a charioteer. And he was telling Arjuna, what? Fight and kill Bheeshma and Drona. Are you understanding? Huh? Arjuna was reluctant. Now Krishna had no qualms in saying, Arjuna, fight. And Drona was beheaded. Everybody was killed. Bheeshma died of his own accord. Now Krishna made him say that. But before that, when he was saying, what did he do? He killed his own uncle. That is what he did. Yudhishthira also was on many occasions advised by Krishna. One important instance is he asked Yudhishthira to speak a lie. Don't understand? Huh? Yudhishthira was wondering, how can I speak a lie? You have to. Can you imagine that dimension from which Krishna was advising? If the cause is dharma, if the cause is propriety, if the cause is benevolent, that cause or the ultimate aim, that is what has to be counted. I am not explaining it further. If you have doubts, you can ask me. Now, I will give you another instance where Krishna finally says, I have completed my role, unloaded the earth. Jarasandha encountered him with 20 Ashtauhinis of Sena. In the first attack, it was all subdued and Jarasandha was held by Balarama and he was about to cut him off. Then he interfered and said, my dear brother, don't kill him now, leave him. He will go again and come back with another 20 Akshauhinis. Like that, 20 times he came and all of them were killed by him. What do you think of that masterly decision by Krishna? We are not able to counter a few terrorists in India. A few terrorists. And see what has happened. What is our tradition? Finally, Krishna says, I have completed all my job. Everything is completed. The time for me to depart has come. But you know what has happened? Because of my illustrious life, illustrious exploits in my life, my Vrishnikula has become very proud and arrogant. And nobody is going to challenge them. Nobody on earth will challenge them. As long as I am there, I can control them. The moment I go, they will be spreading destruction in the society, like the seas overflowing the boundaries. Therefore, I will destroy them and then come. Are you able to understand? I am not quoting parallelly here, I have no time. Are you able to take such a decision about your family? Think about it. Our country is very great. And you know what he said? They will not be challenged by anybody else. So I will bring about a special contrivance for it. What is that? There are bamboo structures in the wild forest, bamboo clusters. So in wind, they start beating each other and suddenly fire comes and the whole bamboo clusters are destroyed. Similarly, I will create a fire in the society, in my own family, and they will kill each other. And as part of it, I will also be killed, and went away. Now, these are all decisions taken by the human mind. Do you agree or disagree? Don't you have such a mind? Can you not take a decision? Now, these are very complex decisions. Now, another interesting decision I shall tell you. You know, our country, saints have played a great role in the country. Unfortunately, when we became independent on the strength of spirituality, not on the strength of politics. When Mahatma Gandhi entered into the fray and he started reading Bhagavad Gita and chanting Ram Nam, etc., then only people started coming in large numbers. Sometimes Mahatma Gandhi used to be asked by some friends, what are you going to do? This British Empire is so colossal. We poor India, what are we going to do? How are you going to subdue them? He said, something will happen, don't worry. Do you have anything in mind? No, but something will come up. That is how he evolved the salt satyagraha. The salt satyagraha came to his mind. So whenever you don't have a decision already, feel and want for a decision. Feel and want for a decision. The decision has to come from the mind. When in the Rama-Ravana encounter, when Indrajit discharged Brahmastra, do you find it interesting or not? When Indrajit discharged Brahmastra, Rama tells Lakshmana, Lakshmana, see, Indrajit has discharged Brahmastra. We have no counter for it. So let us lay our weapons down and prostrate before Brahmastra, he said. Both of them prostrated. Brahmastra found there was no enemy, so it went back to Indrajit. सुनते हैं क्या? हंसते तो हैं, विचार करते हैं. He was discharging one arrow after the other to cut off the neck of Ravana. One after the other fell. One fell. Again come. He said, what is this? What shall I do now? So he stopped fighting for a while, closed his eyes and contemplated upon his own inmost center. Then he got the idea. He discharged an arrow right at the chest of Ravana and he fell. All these are reported in this. Are they not decisions? Timely decisions? Facing the greatest of discomfitures, troubles, enigmas, etc. Now, I will give you some other very important instance. I told you about the independence struggle. But when the Constitution of India was written, no saintly figure was incorporated there. It was all done by politicians. And you know, in our constitution, as far as I am able to see, some fundamental rights and propositions are there. Duties they wrote in 1973 or so, my year figure may be wrong. Nothing about the culture and tradition of India. It was copied from American and Irish constitutions. No reference to this great prehistoric country, Vedic country and culture. The time has come, my dear souls, to rewrite our constitution. Our constitution should be rewritten. It is a political gospel, I agree, very good also. All the present elements can be there, but we have something great, glorious, and unassailable, unconquerable, invincible, in the form of a great heritage and culture. We have. That should be reflected in our country, in the constitution. This is what has happened. Every time, it is the saints and sages, the enlightened people that have saved the country. Now we go back to the Kuru dynasty. In the Kuru dynasty, Chitrangada and Vichitravirya, both of them died childless. Their widows were there, and there was nobody to sit on the throne. It was not a political democratic system at that time. Then what happened? Satyavati called Bheeshma and asked Bheeshma, see, you had declared lifelong celibacy for the sake of your father marrying me. The father is gone. I have my children. They were ruling. They have gone. So even my dynasty is not there. So why don't you impregnate Chitrangada and Vichitravirya's wives? He said, no. I don't know whether you follow me. See, Bhishma's lifelong celibacy was, the pratijna was undertaken for a particular need. The need was fulfilled. Shantanu married Satyavati. Satyavati had her children. They had inherited the throne. And that throne is now deserted because they don't have anybody in the lineage. So their own wives, if Bhishma had impregnated, Satyavati's lineage again will have ruled. Though Bhishma said, though Bhishma's promise was time-barred. Is my expression clear? It had become irrelevant. Bhishma could have agreed. He said no. He was a royal man. Then what can be done? You better call and ask Vyasadeva, he said. Who is this Vyasadeva? Bhishma was still in the palace, a householder, and Vyasadeva was an ascetic and a saint. So Vyasadeva was called. Satyavati said, you have to agree to my proposal of impregnating these women. Vyasadeva said, what? I am an ascetic, living in a hermitage. How many shastras have I written? Suppose I happen to impregnate, what will people think? No, nothing you can say. I am your mother. Mother is the guru, and you have to listen to me. He subdued himself, agreed. But he said, I give 1 year's time for the women to prepare themselves with austerity, and I shall come and impregnate it. What do you understand from this? You are speaking about other chota-mota decisions. Now, these are classical, illustrious, heroic, earth-quaking decisions. Can you imagine Vedavyasa agreeing to this? But for the welfare of the society, for upholding a righteous rule, so that people will be able to live and move freely, he agreed and he impregnated them. Right and wrong decisions equally spring from the same source. You know, we have a mind which can think rightly as well as wrongly, benevolently as well as otherwise. Now, all these are springing from the same source. So, in order to arrive at a right decision, what you have to do is, in your mind, you get connected to this source. The right and wrong both spring from the same mind. So, the mind, it has a source level from which right can come, wrong can come. So, if you want to have a right decision, please tell me, where do you have to look to? To the very source. This is what Sri Rama looked to when he was encountering Ravana. So, you look to the very source. Close your eyes. Think for a while. May I have the right decision? May I have the right decision? May I have not the wrong decision? Let me have the right. Think in this manner. The right decision will spring. If you don't want it to be right, it is for your personal reasons. So don't be constricted. Don't think about the personal interests, even family interests. One after the other, Mahabharata says, you will have to sacrifice. An individual has to be sacrificed for a family. A family will have to be sacrificed for a village or a district. A district will have to be sacrificed for a state. A state will have to be sacrificed for the nation, country. And the country will have to be sacrificed for the globe. Ultimately, the world has to be sacrificed for God. पूर्ण हो गया? हाँ? चुप रहते हैं कि बोलिए ना. Are you prepared to do this? This is what Mahabharata repeatedly says. So, in order to check where your decision is right or wrong, there is one way. Put the opposite and think. I have taken this decision. I call it right. Why should it not be wrong? Why is it that it is right? Cannot another be right? If the mind is able to think about the opposite and weigh itself, there is one way of balancing your decision. Then be bonded to the supreme the infinitely resourceful. Feel a sense of bondedness. Be bonded. Bond yourself to the Supreme. It is within you. Then the right decision will come. The inner spiritual attunement that you are able to develop will transform all consequences to one of enrichment and progression. Suppose you take a decision. That decision will be somewhat painful, hard, etc. And whenever you take a decision, you must be prepared to stand by the consequences. Never escape. Stand by the consequences. Whatever be the consequences, you will find in the hands of that inner attunement, everything will be transformed, and you will have an enriching and an elevating life. Be sure of it. From Srimad Bhagavatam, I quote one line. Vikarma yachotpatitam kathanjid dhunoti sarvam hridi sannivishta. The Lord seated in your heart will wash off all the evil consequences or undesirable effects of whatever you do. Understand that He is seated within your heart. He is responsible for anything that you do. So rely upon Him, be fond of Him, and rest upon Him. Then even all the consequences will be properly treated. An enlightened decision also will have to come from your own mind. Thoughts are coming from the mind, feelings are coming, wrong notions are coming. Everything is springing from the mind. The enlightened decision also should come from the mind. It is a question of fondness. I always say, I don't want you to be good, but please feel that I should be good. You honestly want to be good. I don't want you to be good. Honestly want that. Now I will conclude it. The Chief Justice of Karnataka had come and stayed in my ashram for a few days. He also sought initiation into Brahma Vidya, and I had initiated him. Afterwards, he was telling me, my decision making has become very different. Sometimes he used to get up suddenly at night and rewrite a judgment. And that was during the emergency time, so some of the judgments were not published. One judgment, he said, it was so impeccable, nothing could be done about it. Such a beautiful judgment I wrote, because it was not an office situation. I took and immediately dictated it. Next day when I went to the office, it was put into print, etc., he was saying. So when you become spiritual and spiritually oriented, decision taking will become easier and you will have always the good decision. I will conclude it now with a Sanskrit verse. What is that? Nindandu niti nipuna yadi vastu vandu Lakshmi samavishadu gachadu va yatheshtam adyaiva va maranamastu yugandare va nyayat pathah pravichalanti padam nadhira. I have recited this verse in front of many people, especially some of our disciples, devotees, etc. This is the way we should think. Nindantu niti nipuna yadi vastu vandu. The people who are interested in the dialectics of right and wrong, they may blame me, they may accuse me, or they may praise me. Yadi vastu vandu Lakshmi samavishadu gachadu va yatheshtam. The goddess of fortune, Mahalakshmi, may appear and favor me, or she may leave me and go away. Adyaiva va maranamastu yugandare va. Either today or maybe in the Yugantara, I may die. Whatever it may be, Nyayat pathah pravichalanti padam nadhira. The wise people, the righteous people, never slip from the path of righteousness and virtue. This is the song that all of you should learn. Nindantu niti nipuna yadi vastu vandu Lakshmi samavishadu gachadu va yatheshtam adyaiva va maranamastu yugandare va nyayat pathah pravichalanti padam nadhira. You know, a man of administration, a management man, sometimes they will have to take very serious decisions, hard and painful decisions. Administration means you have to, our Bheeshma Pitamaha advises Yudhishthira, Bheeshma Pitamaha was lying in a bed of arrows. The rod of chastisement will have to be kept up any time if you want to rule the people and allow them freedom. It cannot be saved. It cannot be escaped. So there is a lot of time. There are occasions when very crucial decisions will have to be made, and sometimes it will be painful, burdensome, etc. But always think of, is it to benefit? Never bring the personality. Am I taking a decision for whom? Is it for the country? Is it for the society? Is it for a higher cause? Think in this manner. You know, we are all sannyasins. It is as a result of a great decision. What is the decision? You know, when a man takes up sannyasa, he abandons his lucrative professions or income. And he totally abandons his blood relations. If he is married, married relations also. We abandon everything. We don't do any shraddha for the father or the mother. How this great decision is taken? Because we wanted to completely depend upon God and chance. Just like the earth is revolving on its own axis, supported by the Supreme, the sun and the moon also are shining, waxing and waning. In the same manner, completely resign yourself to chance and rest upon the Supreme Intelligence, the divinity. That is also a decision. I think all these decisions come from you. Our mind and intelligence, not only for a decisional purpose, every time enlightenment is the way for it. So try to enlighten your mind, enlighten your intelligence, and have an enlightened ego. You will be able to take enlightened decision every time if you want. Sometimes if it goes wrong, it does not matter. That will also be set right by providence, by mystic and mysterious courses and developments. Jayati Jayati Devo Devaki Nandanoyam Jayadu Jayadu Krishno Vrishnivam Shafpradeepaha Jayadu Jayadu Meghashyamalah Komalango Jayadu Jayadu Prithvi Bharanasho Mugundaha. Harihi Om, Harihi Om, Harihi. A concluding Om, we shall all together chant. Om. May you all be constantly enriched, elevated, and enlightened. May the source of right decision making be revealed to you, and may you be strengthened to preserve it all through. I embrace all of you mentally and bless you in this great mission. Harihi Om Tats.